COVID-19 recovery, helping Hoosiers recover financially, physically, mentally, and socially through services provided by Community Action of Greater Indianapolis. Services include energy assistance, child care, family support, education, training programs, and food assistance. COVID-19 recovery.
Hello, everybody. Kelly Vaughn here for COVID-19 recovery. And, we promised that this show is going to transition into a show about wellness, and we're still planning to do that. In fact, this may be the first of many shows on wellness, whether it be physical wellness, spiritual wellness, or financial wellness, because we want to be fit in all three areas and beyond. But today we're going to be talking to someone about community services and community ministries. And so my co-host Al Bracken is here. And what you got for us, Al?
Good morning. Good morning. I think Kelly, we can put this under community wellness, because of what we're doing. And as we transition from not only talking about COVID and focused on our mind, body, and soul wellness, this is under the category of community wellness. So let me just give you a little bit of background for the young lady that we're going to be talking to and how we met her. We attended an event at God's Grace 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was with Bishop Thompson, and he brought together a lot of community programs to work with an initiative, Operation Hope, that God's Grace is going to be working with different medical providers, apartments, et cetera, et cetera. So everybody got up and gave a rundown, if you will, of what they did. And our guest here probably got the biggest reaction, at least from me, she did, in reference to her presentation. Her name is Tamise Cross. And Tamise, we're going to go to you now, and I want you to tell us a little bit about what you do in I've got a couple of organizations that Teresa is working with, Volume Mod, the Land Stewards of Indianapolis, and P30. So Tamise, tell us a little bit about yourself and start with P30, a program on the Far East Side. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and tell the community about what you're doing, all the great things that you're doing out on 30th and Post Road.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Tamise Cross, and I will be the executive director of a new co-working space that's being developed on 30th and Post Road. And so Mr. Al mentioned a couple organizations that I work with. Because P30 is currently being developed, we just recently became incorporated. And so working on becoming a nonprofit entity. But the P30 co-working space has been developed by a couple owners of Renewing Management and Land Stewards of Indianapolis, in which I work for Land Stewards of Indianapolis. They are a design firm, and they have a nonprofit arm as far as me organizing community programs that facilitate wellness programs within the communities that they develop. And so one of those developments is the co-working space, where we desire to disrupt inequality, restore hope, and launch prosperity out here on the Far East Side of Indianapolis. And through that, we desire to create economic wells of prosperity, partnering with different organizations that are able to help us fund Black and Brown startup businesses within that space. They'll be able to rent out office space. They'll be able to learn ways to be financially healthy in order for them to sustain their business. We'll have a community kitchen in that space where we want to help chefs develop and build catering businesses. They'll be able to generate income from that community kitchen by selling their food items through the coffee shop or through other ways to bring customers into that space. He mentioned Volume Mod, which is a modular home factory that's in the back end of P30. And Volume Mod is a volumetric modular home factory where there are different developers that are going to be purchasing homes that will be developed in that factory. So the employment in that factory is a second chance opportunity where we are allowing employment opportunities for our returning citizens, and we'll be able to help them learn ways of developing wellness through having support provided by the employer with mental health, and them being connected with P30, the co-working space, to learn ways to start their own business if that's something that they would be interested in. So there are a number of initiatives that we want to have involved with the partnership that we have with the employment that's happening at Volumod, and the employment opportunities that will be developed at P30, the co-working space.
Tamise, a couple of questions. First of all, P30. And I'm going to assume P30 is that Post and 30th Street. Is that where the P30? Okay. I had to ask because I didn't want to assume. And I want to point something else out here. And I know everybody that's looking, well, most of us that's participating today and looking at this television show, you've been in meetings and you had a moment when somebody's talking and you thought to yourself, yeah, right. Yeah, right. They do all of that. Yeah, right. They have that kind of space. Yeah, right. That's the mission of what they're doing. That's kind of what I thought, because what she was saying was too good to be true. So I followed up with Tamise and I took a visit to the site. It's right on the corner of 30th and Post Road. And right is a couple of acre lot in front of the factory. And there's two big signs that points out Volumod and the fact that they're hiring. All right, so I go in here after looking for it a little bit. It's a huge factory where in the back they're manufacturing these modular homes, in some cases tiny homes. And I will tell everyone that's looking at this today that everything and more that she just said is what they're actually doing. I toured the building. Everything is state of the art. Where the P30 is going to be housed at. They've beautiful conference rooms, beautiful state-of-the-art workspaces. They were adding high-def televisions into the training areas when I was out there. So I just want to point that out because I know I'm a skeptic. I admit it. And half the meetings I go to, I do a yeah, right until I can actually see what the folks are saying. And sometimes at the meetings, people do yeah rights with me because I might be making something up. So I get it. I get it. So tell us, Tamise, why that area and why now? How did you guys end up at 30th and Post Road, and why are you there now?
Okay, so the owners, they did purchase that building, particularly for the Volumod factory, because of the home ownership, purchasing land all around the community, and just trying to partner with other people to build on that land, and learning that the far east side of Indianapolis has been overlooked for quite some time. There's been different organizations that are working to rebuild or even restore the image of the far east side of Indianapolis. And so us learning about that as we develop in Volumod, we still had this significant amount of space that we could offer to partner with the other organizations. And one thing that we felt was necessary was to help combat some of the crime is to offer employment opportunities, and not only offer employment opportunities, but also offer opportunities for small business owners, potential business owners, to learn ways for them to develop legitimate businesses and understand that social capital is very important. And so the different relationships that you can develop with different investors or people who will believe in the business that you desire to create, that would also be a social impact, have some type of social impact involved with it in order to help single mothers, the food insecurity that we have on the far east side of Indianapolis. A lot of the people leave from the far east side of Indianapolis to look for opportunities. And we wanted to be able to provide an opportunity for those residents who already live there and people who desire to live on that side of town to remain there and to partner with each other in order to make it a place where we all belong. And so the far east side of Indianapolis deserves to have something as beautiful as that on the corner. They deserve to have the opportunity to connect with different people who can help them fund their business, learn ways to sustain their business, and generate economic wealth on that side of town within that community. And the young people that are in that community, they deserve to know the ways that they can continue to be a part of the solution for the many problems that people can see and hear about. We can encourage them to join forces and create solutions for their friends to look forward to living in that community as well.
So is the goal to have like a village in there? Because here's the thing. I saw the tiny homes. There was a couple of tiny homes that are built inside of the factory for the office space. Mm-hmm. So how many tiny homes / offices do you see going in this village on the inside of the factory?
Okay, so yeah, well, we would have to give information for people who want to see more about P30 to come out for a tour, but there will be 12 tiny homes inside of a big open space that we're using as office modules. They are 80 square feet altogether and would be leased out as individual office spaces. So it'll be 12 of them, and it is like a village. We want to develop a culture of togetherness, a culture of unity. Like I mentioned, there are many organizations that are working to provide solutions for the issues that are prevalent here on the far east side of Indianapolis. And we want to lock arms with those organizations and continue to be an advocate for togetherness and unity, because we are better together. And so if we create that on the inside, then we could continue to see it being lived out on the outside.
Excellent, excellent. So, other than the office space, what kind of services are you going to offer out there?
Well, we're providing financial help, financial education and resources. There are chefs who want to work inside of the kitchen, so we are connected to some other catering companies who will be able to help those chefs obtain the proper certifications and licenses in order for them to operate. We have a fitness center that's there for our members to be able to work out. So there's your health and wellness right there as well. We are connected to some mental health coaches, some life coaches who are willing to come and offer services in that space. We are also offering a subsidized rate for those who live on the far east side of Indianapolis. So as long as their zip codes are within the area that we are covering, we are offering a subsidized rate in order to give some cushion, so to speak, in order for them to be able to learn ways that they could generate wealth, but also have the assistance that they need to start out with so that they can have a launching pad. In order for us to talk about prosperity, we also need to provide a little bit more assistance. There's also an indoor tower garden room that we're providing so that our chefs can prepare meals with fresh herbs and fresh vegetables. And with the surplus of herbs and vegetables that we'll have, we would also give it away to the community as well by partnering with the local farmers that are around there. There's a Black-owned coffee shop that will be ran there as well. So we plan on just building up the community any way that they would like to come in, learn about our recording studio with the podcasting equipment that we have and the engineer that we would have to assist with podcasting, videography, and providing a space for photographers. Even for the artists, I connected with some creatives who would be painting murals on the wall and have a rotating art gallery so that we can support the artists that are in our community and provide them a space for them to be able to share their work.
Outstanding. Oh yeah, big time. We're going to go ahead and take a break and come back and learn more about the ministry side of what Tamise is doing. We'll be right back after these messages. Thank you.
During the COVID-19 emergency, community action agencies are open and here to ensure the well-being of families across the country. For over 50 years, we've been delivering life-changing services, solutions, and stability.
Contact your local community action agency serving Boone, Hamilton, Hendricks, and Marion counties for help during the COVID-19 emergency. We can assist with masks, hand sanitizers, food, shelter, transportation, and more. Apply today.
During the COVID-19 emergency, community action agencies are open and here to ensure the well-being of families across the country. For over 50 years, we've been delivering life-changing services, solutions, and stability.
Serving Boone, Hamilton, Hendricks, and Marion counties, be sure to visit our website to learn about employment and education opportunities, food, housing, transportation assistance, and more. Apply today by calling 317-396-1800.
And we're back here on COVID-19 recovery, talking to Tamise Cross, who has been giving us a tour of some serious community wellness going on out on the east side. It's just phenomenal, Al, what they're doing. And one of the things that came to my mind was the Black Chamber of Commerce work sharing space downtown. And I didn't know if Tamise was familiar with that. And is this in any way similar to that? Do you know?
Well, I can tell you I'm familiar with it. We'll let Tamise talk about that as well. And as much as we love the space that Larry Williams and the Black Chamber has down there, and it's a wonderful, highly energetic space, this is similar, but much larger and comprehensive. Tamise, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, actually, I'm not familiar with what the Black Chamber of Commerce is doing in downtown Indianapolis. But I would say if anyone is familiar with Speakeasy or Developers Town, those co-working spaces that are in Broad Ripple, that will kind of give you an idea of the appearance of the use of those tiny homes inside of the co-working space, and just a general idea on how co-working spaces operate, which is just giving people an opportunity to gain membership so that they can utilize the Wi-Fi and some office resources that's normally accessible inside of a corporate office. So they'll be able to come in and have membership to utilize that space. And if anyone was starting out a business, instead of going to like a plaza and leasing out a large, amount of space, they would be able to lease out a smaller space in order for them to just build their wealth and learn more ways to develop like a sustainable business.
Excellent.
One thing that comes to my mind in terms of sharing a space. So what about how things are treated there in terms of the pandemic? Of course, safety is concern number one with folks about anything right now. So how does that work?
Well, we are utilizing COVID protocols as far as wearing your face mask and different things of that nature. But the different office spaces range between 50 square feet up to like 1,300 square feet, or 1,700 square feet. So depending on the size of the organization, they would just comply with the COVID protocol. So if they wanted the 1,300 square feet, they would have to set it up, for those safety practices to take place in the office space that they are using. But yeah, that's pretty much our plan with COVID.
Okay.
One of the biggest elements of what we do with community action and our wellness programming is working with ministers and helping our ministers that we are affiliated with set up wellness ministries. So before we leave here, we want Tamise to give us a view of a program that they have coming up in the next month or so. It's called the March for a Million. The March for a Million. So Tamise, tell us a little bit about, or tell us whatever you want about the March for a Million event and exactly what it is, where it's taking place, et cetera, and how people can participate.
Absolutely. So a couple of the business partners that I'm working with, we are all together believers and serve in a local ministry. I myself am an ordained minister as well. And so I have come alongside Multiply Indiana in operating an event called March for a Million. And you can go to www.marchforamillion.com. And you will be able to see that on March 20th, we are hosting a unified prayer and worship event down on Monument Circle. It had been a vision of the churches within the state of Indiana coming together to pray for 1 million souls saved within a certain time frame, basically. But we want to just draw arms together with the local church from all over the state of Indiana to come together and pray and worship and intercede on behalf of the situations that's taking place in our state, but also praying about us being a unified church as a whole and sharing the gospel, sharing our faith with those who are not believers. So we are gathering on the 4 corners that's leading up to Monument Circle. We're praying on those corners, and then we're marching together down to Monument Circle, and there'll be about an hour and a half of prayer and worship and even baptism going on down there. So we are just calling for all those who believe in Jesus, believe in prayer, the power of prayer. Let's join together and just pray together for our unsaved loved ones, friends, co-workers to be saved, and even for our churches to learn ways to be more evangelistic, to do more outreach, and to learn ways that we can disciple those who are around us so that we can be spiritually whole. So that's just our call to action, just for the body of Christ to come together, no matter the race, no matter the denomination. We don't want any walls of separation to keep us from doing what God is calling us to do. And that's just to come together to be the worshipers that he's looking for, so that we can continue to intercede for those who don't know anything about who he is.
I'll tell you that we absolutely believe in the power of prayer. And we also believe that that's how Tamise's organization came to us and answered several of our prayers in reference to a community organization, a community ministry on one of the community ministries on the far east side that's addressing multiple issues from a wellness perspective. And we've got a little bit more time to go, but we're going to touch on this a little bit more. But Tamise, I want to make sure you give your contact information. I want it twice. I want it now, and I want it at the end. So, okay. And it's important for folks to be able to get in contact with you, whether they have you do monthly or weekly tours at scheduled times. So talk about that and talk about your contact information, how folks can set up a time to come out and tour the P30 facility and put their eyes on exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, so please email me at Tamise, T-A-M as in Michael, I-S-E as in Edward, at L as in land, S as in Stewards, INDY.com. So that's Tamise at LSND.com. And so, yeah, I do host tours twice a month, every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. As a matter of fact, the last Wednesday of the month, we're inviting everyone in the community to pray with us at P30. As we want to pray for a unison sense of togetherness with the faith community and the business community, just to come together and pray for 1 hour from 5:30 until 6:30 on the last Wednesday of the month, which is the fourth Wednesday generally. So yeah, every second and fourth Wednesday, you can email me and I will schedule that time for you. If you have a large group that you would like to have come out and take a tour, I will schedule a private tour with you as well. So,
Tamise, who are some of the business folks that are working with you in with P40 and Volume I? Who are some of those
with P30? So yeah, of course, God's Grace is one of the ministries that's working with us, but Renewing Management is working with us, Land Stewards of Indianapolis. We have partnership with Cafe on 38th and Post Road. We have partnership with the Indy Network unit with Pastor Chad. There are many people, the Glick the Glick Corporation. They have a couple apartment communities out that way, so they're working with us. We have Lakeisha Jackson, who's familiar with what we have going on, as well as Keith Graves. Both of them are the councilmen that's in District 14 and District 13. So they are fully aware and connected with what we have going on as well.
Excellent, excellent. And again, before we leave, and just to touch back on the March for a Million, what can folks anticipate walking away with after attending that event? What's the follow-up going to be after we do the March for a Million?
Well, the follow-up should be, how can we continue to come together as a body of Christ to win those who are lost? How can we partner with other churches? How can we connect the Big C Church to the Little C Church in order for us to continue to do more work within our communities by providing the discipleship resources that are necessary so that those who are walking in the faith will be able to comfortably express their faith and communicate truth with one another. So you should be able to walk away inspired. We should be able to look forward to seeing the kingdom of God on earth as it is in heaven. And that's with every nation, every tribe, every race, every denomination coming together just to lift him up and trusting in him for souls saved in our state.
I got to tell you, I think everybody can see what I was talking about and the type of information that Tamise gave the group 2 or 3 weeks ago. Kelly, do you have any more, a question that you want to ask before we have to wrap up?
No, I'm just really impressed and proud of you, young lady, and all that you're doing. And you mentioned Pastor Stephen Thompson. We've worked closely with him, and he is just absolutely a phenomenal neat leader. So this fits him. Everything that you've said, it fits him. And so I just want to commend you for your efforts. Just outstanding.
Praise God. Thank you.
Yeah, same here. Thanks again, Tamise, for appearing. We'll be bringing Tamise back as a regular to do updates on the march and the continuing positive effects that what P30 is doing in conjunction with Community Action of Greater Indianapolis. So having said that, we'll say good morning and look forward to seeing everyone next time.
Amen.
All right.
Thank you.
See you next time, folks.
Right.
I'm Kelly Vaughn.
And Al Bracken.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
During the COVID-19 emergency, community action agencies are open and here to ensure the well-being of families across the country. For over 50 years, we've been delivering life-changing services, solutions, and stability.
Serving Boone, Hamilton, Hendricks, and Marion counties, be sure to visit our website to learn about employment and education opportunities, food, housing, transportation assistance, and more. Apply today by calling 317-396-1800.